All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome, I would say, to another, but technically we missed a week, so welcome back to some painting. Last week, a certain somebody came back from out of town who was near some sick people, apparently, and got us sick, so we ended up kind of sick early last week. So Monday, Tuesday, kind of Wednesday, all kind of sucked a little bit. And I had it scheduled and I was just like beat exhausted. So that didn't happen last week. Now it was supposed to be for Ahsoka, and we did paint, or I painted a little bit of this. I'm still not done with it. Kind of just hitting it when I have the motivation to do so. And currently I do not, because what I want to get done is some SHATTERPOINT stuff, which is what we're doing today. But before we get into that, I'm going to talk about this. We're doing a giveaway this month. It's just going to run until the 31st. There's a short in the description if you want to find out more. Basically, I have two of these guys all printed up, ready to go. So we're going to give away two of these. If you want to win, head to that short and you can get it painted, or if you just want the model, you want to paint it yourself, I'll just send you this. That's a Galactic Armory model. So if you want it painted up to look something like this, then you can have that. Or if you just want the model, it's up to you. But two of them into the month. Now today's task is painting up the other squad for my SHATTERPOINT stuff. So I wanted the Mandalorian stuff. I make poor decisions. And if you see me looking that way, my other screen is to my left. I'm just looking to see it because it's easier than trying to see the camera view. So we got Mando painted up. That little Grogu painted up. I think this came out really, really, really good. I'm very happy with it. I did change the scheme on the bases, which if you want like a simplified way to do this, because this is like 4 steps, it's really nothing to making these bases. So if you want that, let me know. I just batch painted all of them up, but I did cover up the ground with texture paste, and then did the bone white just like I did for the Flashpoint models, but I just added in pallid bone and a little bit of hardened leather over top of that just to make it a little darker. So I did do that on all of the desert texture this time around instead of painting it the way I did, because I didn't like it, and I didn't really like the way that I was painting the bases, but I was kind of at the mercy of the bases already being stuck, or the models being stuck to the bases. So we got IG-11 here, which I really, really, really love how he came out. The bronze bits could maybe be a little bit more bronze. But all things considered, he has exactly the kind of dingy, dirty look that I want. A little bit more color on these bases that don't quite come through for you guys, but basically just a few shades of gray and some Agrax Earthshade. And then we've got Grief Karga, which is the first dark skin tone that I've really done. He came out pretty good, especially considering he's just a bunch of browns. I don't really have a good game plan for it, but I think the colors all ended up just slightly different enough that it works. I was pretty happy with it. But this guy, this is good stuff. Love that. Okay. Well, I guess also I painted up one of our guys here. So I've got one more squad, or one more unit to paint up, and that is 2 just covert random Mandalorians. And I painted this one based kind of off the one you see in the trailers. Still have to paint his visor, I think. I don't think I painted his visor yet. I think it's just got some known oil in there. But I kind of based the colors off of him. Kind of like a burgundy tan. He had a little bit of the chrome on the T. I think they went like orange or something on the box art. I'm good on that front. And then you've got the armor and Paz. So once I'm done, I will have most of the mainline Mandalorian Mando characters that I could run, and I guess I could technically mix Bo-Katan up in this as well, which could be interesting. So I'm actually really excited to paint this guy. I think his set's real cool. So I don't know. We're definitely not going to finish this guy today, I don't think. But we'll get a lot of it blocked in, I think. I did pick up some Fanatic colors for him. It's kind of like a dirty yellow, mainly because I hate the one yellow that I have. And Imperial Navy, I can't tell. I only have one dark blue, and I didn't want it to be as purple as that. So I grabbed this guy. I think this is pretty close. I think we're going to block in all the armor and then do some dry brushing. And his undersuit is a light gray. Hopefully I can keep the colors pretty clean. And we can just keep the gray on the legs, and then his vest is kind of a darker color, but we'll cross that when we get there. Now, I put this guy together into pieces because his arm has some flex. This way, I don't have to deal with this big thing being in the way. Dang, fuzz. And I can get freely to everything else, and then I can, it's kind of a pain to get it back on there, but I could put this on afterwards. Might get a little scratching on the chest, but we'll see. I figured it was easier to cross this bridge than trying to deal with this crossing over in his leg and his chest and everything. I think it's just going to look better without it. So that's where we're at. I think, let me pull up my reference picture. So I guess we're going to start with the yellow because there's less of it. The jetpack is yellow, I think. I'm going to try to find a picture of his jetpack, confirm, but I think that is the case. And then a burgundy, I'm going to have to just try to mix up a burgundy, but I don't think I'm going to need a whole lot of it, so I didn't grab one of those. It just seems like a waste of that. Granted, the yellow, I also could have just made do with, used a speed paint or something, but I hate the one yellow paint that I have, so I figured this gave me an excuse to try to replace it. So let's start with the yellow. Why not? This dude's got a very bulky, like, industrial, rugged look to it. We gotta paint his whole right knee down. And I think I might do some sponging. God, these Fanatic bottles are rigid. They are hard to squeeze. I don't know if that's because they're like angular or what, but like this little game color nozzle and everything is like super easy to deal with. I almost got one of the game color blues, but it's the same blue that I technically already have. I guess just like a newer formula of it or something. And I don't like the game color stuff that I have. So trying to get better about separating my metallic brushes from irregular brushes, and I kind of feel like that's a lost cause at this point. Because there's a tiny little bit of metallic in both of these. But whatever. So I think the problem with yellow is it's such a opaque color, or a transparent color rather, sorry. It's like hard to get coverage on things. I'm hoping this yellow is a little bit better than that. Tell. Also got off much later from work than usual, and it was a rush to get everything set up because I use a lot of the same stuff that I do down in the game room. I gotta move a bunch of it to set up here for Monday, and then get it moved again for Thursdays. What's we got there? Gosh, hair's wild today. This little thing, I can't tell if that is a piece of armor or if that's like a piece of clothing. It's like a weird little fold. There's going to be some of this that I'm just not going to be able to get on angle, but okay, it's not a bad first pass by any means. There's knee pads. That seems upside down. Whatever. Okay, and then it's the knee and like a foot protector. Also, kind of wanted to go last year. It's just very far away, and it's very an expensive endeavor. But Adepticon is always on my birthday, and I've never been. I think it'd be cool to go. But not exactly sure how that would work out this year. It is probably like 15 or 16 hour drive away from me. So I don't know about that one. Okay. That jetpack I'm gonna have to get a picture of or something. Something else I was gonna say, and I don't remember what it was. I don't remember if it had to do with this guy or not. Gotta paint his gauntlet. Yup. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Not that. Well, you're watching a Star Wars thing, so maybe you do care. I feel kind of bad, actually, because apparently the like Nielsen ratings are out or whatever, and Skeleton Crew is the lowest rated Star Wars project on Disney Plus. Or I guess rated. I don't know, rated doesn't seem like the right word. It's not like a review, but the numbers for it aren't good, and that sucks because it's actually been really, really enjoyable. So if you were on the fence after The Acolyte, I would give it a shot. Just believe me. I didn't like The Acolyte either. But Skeleton Crew has been really good. I think there's some good moments. It's just a good, fun Star Wars show. So if you checked out after The Acolyte, I don't blame you. But I would check out Skeleton Crew. It's pretty good. It's actually been a show I've like actively looked forward to the next episode every week. Which I guess, kind of, to be fair, I did the same with The Acolyte, but it was more of like there was potential every episode, and then they just kind of didn't. It was like anticipation and disappointment every week. But like, not for the right reasons, I guess. Skeleton Crew's just been a good ride so far. Okay, I think that is all of the yellow except for the jetpack. Let me pull up a jetpack. The hot toys. Okay, now I don't think I want to do mine that detailed, to be honest. There's some like metallic-y gray on here. Let's just block in most everything in yellow, and then we'll come back. this. The cylinder was yellow. It's probably most everything there. The easy portion. There we go. Now, we just get to do it all again. Which it looks like we're gonna have to do at least 3 coats. Based on some of these bigger pieces that don't hide it as well. Like that knee, I think is all right. We got to block in this a little bit. I thought looked upside down. That is because it's supposed to be painted. Heard that one? Yeah, this yellow is pretty good. It's almost perfect. Actually don't think I posted it anywhere. I posted it in the Shatterpoint Reddit that I had painted like all my range tools and stuff. And they were painted like Tatooine sunset type of thing. And I had to do like, I shit you not, probably like 5-6 coats of like that yellowy orange for the base coat, and it still wasn't perfect by the end of it. So this seems pretty good. Is a thinner coat, but since I know I'm gonna have to do this a 3rd time, it's all right. Also still trying to find that sweet spot as far as thinning goes, because I'm not great at it. I'm very inconsistent at it. So, it being too thin is not the end of the world. Especially considering this stuff is supposed to look dingy, and like some of this color variance I almost feel like might work in my favor, since it's not supposed to be perfect. But the idea is you get it to perfect and then you weather it back, I guess. So while that dries, I think we should go ahead and figure out this burgundy, which we need one burgundy gauntlet and a tiny little bit of burgundy on the jetpack, I believe. So just gonna try to darken a red. I just kind of want to put like a brown in there, but none of my browns are very dark. But again, I'm not good at mixing colors. Typically takes me a lot more tries than it oughta to get the color that I'm looking for. Granted, that charcoal gray be just right, but it's a little dark, I think. With me. Got a little too much water involved, but oh well. Let's see. Yeah, that might be a little, I almost want to say like more of a desaturated burgundy than kind of what I was maybe going for, but it'll get the point across. Okay. Oil. Else. A reddish burgundy patches. He's actually got a burgundy stripe on his yellow shin. And it is on here. I'm gonna use a different brush. because I might do a yellow coat on some of these spots that need it, but I'm not going to do an overall another coat. Like maybe on the jetpack just because it's bigger and more obvious, but this is definitely not my strong suit. Well, the most obvious part being the outside part. To find the cleanest angle to follow this line. A little bit of cleanup needed there. But I think I'm gonna leave that inside like that. Clean up that one spot with the yellow. Oh man. Now, for those of you keeping up on any amount of the Marvel Rivals shenanigans, if you are playing competitive, which we have been playing some, my God, I am sick of seeing Groot and Strange in every game. Like, I guarantee at this point, and let's just say, I don't even want to talk about it. It's just gonna trigger me. Let's just say we're stuck somewhere and it has been a rough experience. And it seems like some of that sentiment is shared in the community as far as the way that they handled de-ranking and kind of resetting post preseason, which I would agree with because it certainly feels that way. It is rough. Now, there's going to be some burgundy on this jetpack also. But we will deal with that when we get there. Because this yellow is going to need to dry up. And since I'm doing a kind of a third coat on this jetpack, obviously we can't do the burgundy, which means I'm going to do blue next. I also need to figure out, I'm sure I could figure it out, it's probably a gray, what color this little butt cape is. Oh wait, I still gotta paint his little circular thingy down here. Poorly worded. Yeah, like I'm okay with that gauntlet. Now even this yellow thing's not terrible. Just get a little bit more on the bottom primarily. All right, now for the big part. That is all of the blue. Which, for that, we're gonna try this Imperial Navy. Hopefully it looks, at least looks like it does on the label or in the bottle. Hopefully it's not gonna be a big surprise, I think. Okay, yeah, so this is actually the darkest end of the vivid blue spectrum. I didn't like the other ones, they were too purpley. This I think is going to be pretty good. Now there's going to be some gray in some of these spots. I think we'll just do that afterwards. Now that seems really watery. Out of the bottle, almost a little more watery than the other paints have been. It seemed terrible. All right, blue. Let's start with a. Right. Now I did zenithal this guy, mostly because I didn't know if I was going to be speed painting him or regular painting him. Now this is the second, can't really tell what I'm looking at. Guess that's just the top end of the leg armor. But this is the second blue that I've used from Fanatics, and that came out really smooth. I don't know if it's just something about the blue formula that they use that makes it feel as good as it does, but works for me. Because the other colors are fine, but they don't feel as good as the blues. Honestly, I think these blue, as long as it stays like this, I will only do one coat of the blue. weird transition from like armor to cloth right there. What's also kind of funny is I didn't really know these are apparently kind of new. This pack, and I guess to a lesser extent, Dinjarin is also kind of new. Hopefully those lines come back out once it dries. Got a little too heavy. But these guys, the Paz Vizsla armor pack, I think it's from like October or November or something. They haven't been out that long. I think I got it too thin, too heavy, or something. Whatever, we'll see what happens when it dries. Well, I feel like the ignoring of the undersuit is not going particularly well. Definitely not doing this as cleanly as perhaps I could, but feel like that back area would be blue, but those little foot caps are black, his gloves are black. I guess technically there's a part of that chest that could have been gray, but I think that's just a little unintentional. Shoulder thingies are blue. Trying to see if I could see this back plate and anything, but it's kind of covered by all of them. So we're gonna go blue. That's just gonna make the most sense. Can't really see what's going on in a lot of this. There is some brown, but I think in everything blue, and we'll come back to it. Because even if it stays blue, I'll probably never notice. Okay. Right. Helmet. Got a light blue. It's got gray. But I feel like it might be easier to just paint his whole helmet blue and then go back over it with the other colors. Got a gray, the light blue. Trying to see if that lower half of his helmet is a different color, because they like to do that. But I think it is. I think it's a light blue color. And in that picture, it looks like the dark blue color. Just gonna go all blue, because not really seeing anything that's screaming at me that it's not all blue. So I'm gonna paint the helmet all dark blue, and we'll just go from there. Try not to get it in that visor, just because I like using speed paint. For the visors, it's just easier to get it where I want it to go. Pretty good. Okay. Yeah, honestly, these colors are working perfectly for what I wanted. Again, it's hard to buy paint colors, obviously, in a store. Not always exactly what you were looking for, but this is maybe slightly more like poppy than I would want it, but for the case that I want it for, perfect. elbow pads. The elbow pad. Well, I see him. Oh, and then he's got like a weird little sub shoulder pad, and that's like a dark gray. Huh. Well, both of these are blue. Whoa. This thing will being easier to get to is certainly a little unwieldy to hold. Again, I'm trying to get used to holding this and painting within my little window here so you guys can see. I'm not the greatest painter in the world, so I struggle a little bit sometimes. He has an elbow pad on both elbows, but I can't. Oh, they're blue. See one in that picture, so that's enough for me to go with blue. I'm just going to paint both of these blue and then paint over the gray one. Kind of chunky pads here. I got a little bit overboard behind that tube. It's okay, I can't really see. I must think it ended literally right next to that tube. Okay, and then I think his hand plates are like a very light blue. Sky blue. Okay. So, opening all sorts of. So, I think that's most of our super rough blocking. I think go with some uniform gray from Jesus, not from Jesus, more paints here. We're gonna block in all of this stuff on the jetpack real quick. So I'm not going for perfect screen accuracy here. I want a good representation of the character on the tabletop. So I will make some sacrifices in the name of ease. And I'm gonna have to clean that up because that, you know what, I might not clean it up. As much as I say that'll bug me once everything's done, I'm not ever gonna see it. I think it's something else I need to work on. Just want them to be more or less even. Now, much as I say that, I think there is supposed to be gray. This jetpack. That I do want to block in. Now, I did cover up some of the yellow. That's okay. And this isn't actually completely accurate to what's on the screen, so I can't actually even do all of it, but I can hit these little spots. Just add a little bit of something extra, and then I'm gonna hit that and that. Okay. Now for some burgundy. Looks like almost got more gray on here than I should, but that's okay. I'll take some of this. And get right below these big cylinders. Actually, I gotta clean up that little bit just because. And a tiny little bit of burgundy in that spot. So I think I'm good. I'm good with that jetpack, actually. Now, again, there are other colors, and maybe once I get all the weathering and stuff done, I can go in and pick out just a few bright colors just to add a little bit of something to it. But oh, well, I do want those yellow stripes, actually. Let's see if I can do that. Get that yellow back in there. I just feel like it's almost going to be too... Maybe we'll just put one stripe in, point across, you know? That's a little bit messy, but I think that'll get hidden once we do the extra stuff. So jetpack done. Still have to paint this hose, which might just do with speed paint. The name of the gun. Flight suit is probably gonna get speed painted because even the little bit of crimes in there, I think they'll just get covered up. I think that's fine. This guy. And we still got to block in bits of the helmet. It looks like his little flap is a brown burgundy color. And we could just base coat it in the same, but I think it's a little more brown. I don't know, it looks real red, but that's a figure. Yeah, piece of artwork. It's like a dark burgundy brown. Wow, jeez. Scared the crap out of me. Got that shittiest little stand holding this. It just exploded on me. You know what? It is kind of red. I might just base coat it in the same color just for simplicity's sake. And it won't look out of place. And then maybe we could dry brush it with like a brown to bring it more in line with being kind of brown. I don't know. Because it's like a very red browny kind of, although I feel like it'd almost look better if we have a more diverse color, but can't get a good read on it. Obviously I could go through the show, I'm sure, and find stills of it and see it. Just a quick image search. I might just make it a leather. Well, no, because then it'll blend in with the belt, because I'm just going to make the belt basically all around his waist like a leather brown, I think. Try this color. Let's get it out and see what it looks like. These game colors are I don't love them. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. That seems all right. They always either just seem really, like, even running them through the mixer and shaking them, they always just seem like more watery and less colored. Yeah, it seems. I don't know. This one might be all right. But this is what we're going to go with, and then figure out from here where we want to go. Oh. Tooth there, I think. It does seem weird to me that at a quick search, it seems like the Hot Toys, the Black Series, all the different figures, right? That I would like, especially Hot Toys and stuff, get. You know, they're affiliated, right? They get all the stuff they'd ever want for sculpts and things to make stuff. I would assume. Like, why is the color so varied across all the things? It's not even like they were aiming for the same color and all just ended up with different shades. It's like just different colors. I don't hate it. Also, it's kind of weird to me they didn't make that like more tattered looking in the sculpt. What you gonna do? Check chest. Gray and gray. We're just gonna use the same gray. I should probably different brush here, but nobody's ever accused me of making good decisions. Let that settle. Block. Just about to say. Trying to be extra careful because I don't want to have to go back over any of this again, but as I thought it. This is the kind of the sucky part. I want to get to the good part of putting a wash on this sucker and doing some dry brushing, but which I think I'm gonna do a. I was originally gonna do like a blue dry brush over the blue, but I think the armor, which I guess I could have waited on the leathery thing there. I think I might just do like a light gray dry brush over the whole thing, and then I could sponge with the light gray so it kind of unifies the blue and the yellow and makes it just feel like they were painted different colors, maybe. What I do with that. Ooh. So a little dot of this blue. Erase that mistake. I think that's all the gray that I need on that chest. Gotta pick out the helmet. Oh, the helmet. Kind of like a metallic-y kind of thing going on. But I think I'm just gonna do gray, and I think the known oil's probably gonna get me, plus the dry brush, more or less to the aesthetic that I want. Now, trying to get a good look at his helmet. It's really hard to tell what's gray and what isn't, to be honest with you. Got the light blue, that's obvious. But then his face almost doesn't look gray, but I think it is. Or is it just the T that's gray? These low-res pictures aren't helping me. Okay, well that's accurate, which, you know, almost like, it's like a weird inverted coloring. So the face of it is blue, but then the angles, like the inside angles, are silver. I'm not going to be able to do that. Yeah. But then the top of the T is gray. Honestly, just for the way that it reads, because I'm never going to be able to hit that in the way that it's done. I'm just going to paint the whole T gray. And that's just going to be how it is. Because it's almost like the inside. I'm not even gonna. Nope. I think this will read just fine. I almost kind of want to just try to edge highlight, basically paint this. Not. I don't mind if I get the gray in the T, or like the visor section. Walking a fine line of thin too much, not thin enough to flood out these areas. You can hear my stomach. I am hungry. So, sorry. I feel like that's too thin. It's too thin. It's both a bad thing and a good thing because it means that I'm figuring it out. Yeah. This is gonna be key. Okay. I'm gonna paint this stripe down his head. But I want to get the sides of it. There's gonna have to be cleanup on the stripe. Just ain't no way around it. I mean, there's a way around it, but not for me. And just for diversity's sake, I'm gonna paint this on the back of his head as well. I don't know if it's supposed to be, but I want it to be, so it is. Okay, that is not terrible. Whoa. I think both ears kind of gray, and then there's a little bit of black on one of them, so we're just gonna base coat these as well. And now I think the only thing on the helmet that I need to do right this second. Yeah, I guess I'll probably clean that up a little bit, but is somehow paint the insides of those cheeks light blue and the hand plates light blue. Which we'll be glad when this paper is gone. This paper sucks. I'm gonna use some sky blue. Again, this might be a bit extreme, but it'll get us where we want to go. Probably. That isn't perfect, but it's good enough. I mean, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I am terrible at painting this side of anything. Why is that? Like I just can't ever find the right angle to get it stuff. I kind of need the light reflection to give me my line to follow. I'm really trying not to over thin this so I don't just flood out the whole area at a touch. Oh my gosh. Hands. You guys mind? How did I do the first one so easily and now this paint out to get me? All right, I think I can. No, I'm not going to touch it. I think I can live with that. I hit a tiny little spot of blue because my hands just got a little wild on entry there. There we go. Yeah. Okay, I think he is nice and base coated, ready for some wash and some dry brushage. Now this guy needs baby blue Mandalorian hand plate treatment. Why am I still using this brush? take extra long. You know, I will say, painting with speed paints is certainly more satisfying, or more gratifying. I've been doing this for almost 2 hours, hour and a half. And he is certainly looking more like he's supposed to, but I haven't finished anything yet. Worried about coats. Now, everything is done and ready for a wash. Now, I've seen some people will clear coat before doing this. I don't, and I just try not to rub too much on them, because most of the time it's fine. It's just some colors seem to get reactivated almost by the known oil, but most time it's all right. Now, what size brush do I want to use? Yeah, we use this speed paint brush from the Army Painter. Set that out of the way. Don't ever know what's gonna be too much and not enough with known oil. Especially with a piece like that, I don't want to flood it too much. That's good. Want it to settle in some other places. I kind of push and pull it around to get it to really settle where you want it to. It's good stuff, but it is not a one trick. It's like I said, and forget it. Just stop putting it upside down so much, but works some good with that. Because it will more or less dry how it looks. So I don't like the way it looks. Soak some of it up. Push and pull it around. Get it where you want it, because I just want to focus it into these creases a little more. Get to should have done a little bit more yellow on that inside of the calf. I forgot. But again, I think that more or less is going to get hidden up by that Nuln Oil anyways. Good. Chest, just because it's kind of a big flat. I'm just gonna kind of slobber it on, if I'm being honest. So I think the dry brushing is gonna do a lot of the work on that chest piece. Generally just touch that. To be careful with. Always find doing like a Nuln Oil over something like as weird a shape as this thing is, jetpack, kind of hard. There's a lot of spots for stuff to just pool that you might not necessarily want it to. It'll probably work out just fine, but you know, I do want it to be a little dirtier. And again, I'm doing the Nuln Oil first. I don't know why. I mean, I guess necessarily you could technically do the sponging and dry brushing and then do the Nuln Oil. That would probably realistically make more sense, but I think for this to look the way that I want it to, I'm just going to do it this way because I do want the sponging to be kind of subtle. I'm not going to overdo it. So see, that pulled a little bit of that paint off. I don't know why that does that. It's not the most consistent thing in the world. I'm not sure if it's like a dry time related thing, or if some paint formulas are just use something that gets reactivated by it. I'm not going to put Nuln Oil over that blue, the light blue, I want it to stay obvious. End up getting repainted anyways. Set him aside. Let's hit all these bits. Whoa. Bring out all this lovely detail of it. I don't mind putting it over the light blue here because it's big enough. If I put Known Oil in that tiny little crevice, it's just gonna flood all of that, and it's probably not gonna look super blue. I'm not as worried about this burgundy gauntlet because it's not going to stand out a whole lot, but and this guy. Okay. Actually, go back and the underside of that a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna leave that weird little blemish on his head. I think again, by the time these Game Workshop bottles are just a pain. I think by the time everything else is done, that's not going to be obvious. That jetpack. Good with the yellow, the blue. Might be a little aggressive, but it's all good. And what's funny, it's just because this is where I'm holding and I'm just rubbing off my paint. But I think that might actually give me, because I was probably going to do this, most guns I'll do in black, but I think I'm going to do this in like a lighter gray. And this is actually going to give me probably a nice charred effect anyways, just from gradually fading out that stuff naturally. So, hey. If I need to dry brush I was gonna go ahead and paint the little boot caps, but I'm not gonna do that because I don't know if I'm gonna want them dry brushed. But if I do, I'll just dry brush them separately. I'm definitely glad I picked up these colors. I was gonna mix them up. I decided not to. I think that's good. I don't know if I'm thrilled with this rocket. I think it's fine. It kind of ended up backwards, but my colors kind of bled heavily in the wrong direction. So I guess it depends. Do you think the rocket's launching itself? Because they almost painted it like the jetpack is launching the rocket and not the rocket launching itself. So I think the white should have been closer up and the orange should have been further down. So it ended up, I don't know, ended up kind of weird. I think it still gets the point across, but I haven't put him on a base yet because I don't know what bases I want these people to go on. So I think I'm probably only going to use one of these. This is the only one I have 2 of left. So even though the Dinjarin box comes with 4, or only comes with 3 models, it does come with 4 bases still. It still comes with the whole sprue. So the 4 unique ones would be these. And I don't know, I kind of want to put her in the shrubs on the little base. Which means maybe I should put Paz Vizsla on this one. That way the 2 coverts are both on similar bases. That might work. I don't know if I'm going to clear coat this guy. I guess I can. Part of why he's still on the cup. I just use these tiny little plastic cups for people that I don't want to paint on their bases, and they work just fine. With some double stick tape, it just gives me a large enough thing that I can kind of cup them in my hand. So I've got paint handles. I don't like them as much. They're too skinny. I like the size of these cups. So I'll just reuse them. Yeah, I don't know. I don't actually remember why I started using these cups. But I mean, I guess. I mean, yeah, maybe you could use like a sauce cup. I don't know. Okay, is this dry? It looks dry. Looks dry enough for government work, and yeah. I'm gonna have to use this my water napkin here. Now I think I want a bigger dry brush than that. I'm gonna use this little fellow right here. And I think, yeah, use this gray. This is the old Game Color Stonewall Gray. Hopefully this doesn't, hopefully this is visible and doesn't look super weird. The first dry brush strokes are always the worst. I'll be a little careful on that leg. I'm also trying to like look past the blinding light kind of blowing out some of this because this paint has a little bit of sheen to it, which I don't love. Cheap brushes. I almost feel like I'm gonna have to hit the yellow with a white because this gray Doesn't. Very subtle. I want it to be a little bit more. Just a little bit more obvious on the yellow. And to be fair, the white might not be super obvious either. Like it's kind of there, but it's very hard to see on that yellow. Honestly, on these smaller bits, I'm just gonna shove this brush in there and try to hit something. That works for me. Helmet. Might need the smaller brush for this. There it is. I got a little heavy there. But honestly, if I could just undo the harshness of it, I don't hate it. But it was like right in the reflection, but a little heavy. I'm trying to. Yeah, it's a little much. We'll come back to that in just a second. Definitely going a little heavier on the yellow bits, that's for sure. All right. I think I'm good with that. Should have brought some paper towels with me. Ooh. Okay, what do I do about this weird... I feel like it's not that obvious, but I know it's there now, and that's gonna be problematic. Steal a little bit of this, maybe. I'm just trying to rub back in some of this blue. Yeah, that's fine. Certainly not a perfect situation. Probably not even really going to be able to see it because the light is like right on it. But he has like a ring on his and yeah, it's like caught right in the reflection. It's almost making it look worse. That's very weird, but honestly, I might just leave the yellow with the gray because it looks fine. So now do some sponging with that same gray, which I have yet to find a good system for this. I just rip off a tiny little piece of foam off a foam brush. And try to get it into a shape that I can work with. And I lost my pliers, or my little tweezers that like stay closed until you pinch them. I just kept this little band on here and I just use this. Now it's always either too much or not enough. Never in between. I might just go a little bit heavier on the yellow because again, this gray isn't super obvious on it. And this might just be the most convenient sponging I've done. In terms of it doing what I want it to. Technically, probably shouldn't be chipping on these gray parts, but I don't care. A little heavy there. And this is the more normal sponging experience of like too much, not enough, not really depositing what I'm looking for, way too much. I think that is okay. I'm all right with that. Oh, man. That shoulder's just gonna have a big old blemish on it. That's kind of, it's like surface paint dries, then you push a little too hard and you get too much of the inside paint or something like that. It's still all right. Okay. Now, over 2 hours. We'll go for a little longer. In empty out my speed paint holder. Because pull up a reference. Yeah, so torso is going to be all dark, including the t-shirt sleeves. And I have decided that this noble skin is my preferred suit color. It's the same undersuit I used here. It's the same. It's like a weird, it doesn't come across, but it's like a gray brown, which in trying to figure out what color the Dinjarin's actual flight suit is, you would know that it's not quite gray. It doesn't seem quite brown either. So, perfect. Which is good, because I didn't really have much of a use for that color. Kind of a weird part of the sculpt because his arm crosses through there. I'm just gonna we'll assume that that is correct. Check his legs. He's got these weird like chap things with his thigh armor. Yes, I just want the t-shirt sleeve. A little more than I wanted right there. Which I will say, it's both kind of nice and kind of sucks. It's like, I wouldn't mind having this guy for Legion. I would imagine they just don't really know how to make him work for Legion, because it almost is more of like a heavy weapon addition more so than he is like his own unit. Like, I don't think he'd be an operative in Legion or a commander or anything. Which is why he works perfectly in this as a secondary unit. Same thing with the armorer. And just given the kind of thematic squad building nature of Shatterpoint, it's a little easier to fit in. But man, they've come out with some cool characters like the Night Sisters and stuff for Shatterpoint that, like, I'd imagine people have been waiting a long time for in Legion. That's just part of it, I suppose. Okay, look at some references. What's going on these legs? Oh no, I have goofed. That's unfortunate. I think it almost looks like these thigh armors go all the way around his leg. So even though they're like separated on the sculpt, they're like, it's like the same thing, kind of weird. Could be all right though. But we'll deal with that at another point, because I'm not gonna go for too much longer. I want to try to get this guy, this little piece here, dealt with. We'll just leave him there. So he has kind of a gray, kind of a tan undersuit. Kind of want to try thinning down this bony matter, but like make it almost non-existently colored, and try that. Or his glove. Black. Oh, he only has one blue hand plate. That hand plate should have been burgundy. Nah, it don't matter. Let's try 2 to 1, because this paint's already pretty thin anyways. It almost is non-existent. Let's see. We got a hose. Just gonna paint over that now. Well, what's funny, this is almost exactly what I wanted color-wise, but it almost doesn't show up, which is accurate, but makes it look a little weird. I guess it won't look weird once it's all finished and together, but go ahead and got this mixed up. Do this into the cracks and crevices here as well. Yeah, it's weird. It's I don't know, it almost doesn't look like it was supposed to be part of the armor, and then it kind of ended up like part of the leg armor. It almost looks more like a piece of fabric that was like wrapped around, or that the armor was attached to. Oh. And it's very subtle. I might, just for color's sake, on some of these lighter areas, double up on the coats just to make it a tiny smidge bit more visible. I also think, can't tell if it's a wrinkle. I think that's actually a separate piece of cloth under the belt. That's what I'm going with. Need a little bit of gray. Go. Never fail. I will always get out more than I need. I'm gonna go 2 and 1. Thin that down just a little bit. Gravelord gray and some medium. And get this all over. Yeah, it's kind of funny that I don't know if it yeah, it does, that like unintentional gradient to black at the end, just for me handling it essentially. I'm just gonna paint. Okay, that. I don't know what that was. And a little speck. I'm just gonna paint this hose with the same color. Which, man, painting something like this is a pain. Like, hard to tell what you've actually painted and what you haven't. Is that everything? That's everything. Let this guy sit. What do we got? 10 minutes. Go ahead and where is it? Where is it? The best brown ever. Am I blind? No, I am. It was like right in the shadow. This is the great fire drake for leather. We're gonna go ahead and hit this belt. Now there's some of this, I think I might do like a hardened leather. It's got like a reddish tone. I might do over that, but I'm just gonna hit this whole, I think I'm just gonna hit this whole belt with a fire drake as a base. And yeah, this belt is probably a little inaccurate. I think it's just supposed to be like one thick brown thing. Like there's a little bit of split in the sculpt, but I'm not worried about it. I kind of want to do fire drake over the thing hanging off the back, because it would look different. I almost think I would lose, so I wanted the belt and this to be different. I don't know if I want to just do a umber wash over it, or Agrax has got a little bit more of a redness to it, so we'll try Agrax. The umber is very flat, like dirt. I want a little bit more shading. Trying to shape this into more of a line and less of a dot. That's good. It's a little thick, but I think that's fine. Okay. And oh, actually, I was gonna fire Drake. I need the tan. I was gonna fire Drake the boots. No, this is not in frame. I just can't reach. Can't reach. Okay. Is a brown boot. The second brown boot. Okay. Hit the bottom. It's almost like he has this little undersuit thing, padding like under the armor. And it's coming out of the bottom a little. The same thin down tan. So again, that is incredibly subtle. And last but not least, go ahead and block in, I guess it works, block in the black on his hands and his little toe caps. And then all that's going to be left for me to paint up these dang little thigh wrap things that I missed being blue, even though I don't think they were supposed to be blue originally. They don't look like it. What do I know? Is this the black? And I'm just gonna paint this little doodad black, even though at least in the Hot Toys it's more of like a weird gray vibe maybe. Okay. Okay. Now, question is, can I paint? Not gonna. Might add some more to that because I don't love it the way that it is, that little butt cape thing. I was gonna go ahead and maybe put this on, but I won't really be able to reach that thigh because he's holding it relatively low. But I'm actually probably still do like a little bit of a metallic over the top of this, but I like that me just using this as the spindle wore away that bit of white at the end that gave me like a really just natural gradient to the end. So that's good. That's all done. This guy still got to do his visor, obviously, but he is mostly done. I'm going to change. I might do some sponging for some texture, honestly, over this. And looking at it, I might do that with a dark brown and then do another speed paint over top of the whole thing. And then maybe a slight tan dry brush just across the, I don't know. I'm gonna have to spend a little bit of time on that, but I think we're almost there. This guy, again, will probably go on this base. And I'm good with that. So that is almost two of squad 2 of the Mandalorian crew for Shatterpoint. We potentially will be playing with these guys if I can get them all done this weekend. Although I guess I could run, although they're both secondary care. I need a primary. I don't know. We might be playing this weekend. Oh yeah, I can't touch that. We might be playing this weekend some Shatterpoint. It'll be the 3rd time for me and the 1st time for him, so that'll be interesting. That's not a guarantee yet, but it's a more than likely. So that's up in the air. That'll be, I think he said maybe Sunday, which I know we typically do that on Saturdays. But I think we have predetermined things. Honestly, unless you're just along for the ride, the first one, I played like 1 squad versus 1 squad, so it's like 4 models versus 4 models. And I did a lot of stuff wrong. The second one, I think, was a little bit better. But again, that's just the way that I learn things. I'll kind of play the basis of the system and I'll ignore like some of the keywords and stuff and just try to get through it, and then I'll add bits and pieces each time I play it. And it was enough to make me want to buy some more models for it. So we'll be playing it again on Thursday, probably for Tabletop Thursday, just because I'm enjoying it. And then again on Sunday, probably. Odds are I'm going to get all of this stuff painted, hopefully, again, so I could use it this weekend, which means next Monday, I think, unless I come up with something, there probably won't be any painting next Monday. I do have some stuff on pre-order. So I've got the Warcrow Winds, or Beyond Winds from the North box on pre-order. It said it's supposed to ship mid-January. No word on that yet, but that'll be 6 models for Warcrow. Then we can do some more Warcrow content, which is good because I enjoy that system. And then obviously the Halo stuff on pre-order with all the new stuff coming out for that. but that's not till I think March. So it'll be a little while. But right now I have no backlog of stuff that I can paint. I have a backlog of stuff for somebody to paint, but not for me. This Ahsoka, it would be a short stream of some rather boring stuff, so probably not happening there. But so Monday, probably not. This Thursday, yes. Potentially this weekend. I also didn't put out a video this past Friday. There's not really anything jumping out at me that I think would warrant a video. I don't really know anything on SHATTERPOINT enough. There's already a lot of really good content out there for SHATTERPOINT. So unless there's like specific things that people want, until something just kind of pops up for me, I'm just going to continue doing the streams, I think. And then I'll make the video content when something stands out to me. But right now, there's not really anything that I'm chomping at the bit to get something out on. So I want to do a board for SHATTERPOINT as well, which would be easier to do because all I'd have to do is print terrain. The Halo Flashpoint board, I don't know why I can't wrap my brain around managing the 3-inch grid tile things in any meaningful way. So that's all up in here. I'm rambling. I'm going to get out of here. All right. I am plenty happy with how this is turning out. So I'm going to finish this off stream probably tomorrow. And hopefully I can get these other guys painted up before Thursday. If I can, we'll play with these guys on Thursday. But that is a lot of painting. So we'll see. All right. I appreciate you guys being here. Remember, if you want to enter the Halo Flashpoint giveaway, link in the description. All right. I'll see you guys.
The power of the dark